Okay, why are you still tired even though you've slept for a good 8 hours? Like, you are not just groggy, you are really feeling exhausted, you're really feeling annoyed, you're really feeling tired, you're just feeling everything, and you've really slept well because you've got great sleep quality and you've slept for those good 6 to 8 hours or any of those recommended hours, or sometimes even 9 hours, and you still wake up exhausted. So, what is really happening? So, is it sleep quality? Do you need a better mattress? Is it sleep apnea? Or do you just need 10 hours instead of 6 to 8 hours? Or is there something that has nothing to do with how much you are sleeping? Because I had the same confusion because I was sleeping for a good 9 hours or sometimes even an 8 hours, but I made sure that I was getting at least an 8 to 9 hours sleep. And my sleep quality was brilliant. I just felt that whenever I slept literally like a baby. But then, even after all of it, I was still waking up really exhausted, or even during the day, I was getting tired really fast. So, I did my research and I literally tried and figured out what the reason is. And when I got to know the answer, it really blew my mind because I was not expecting this. I got to know that it has nothing to do with the duration, but it all has to do with the timing. And this is a pattern that I noticed, and even you might have noticed, is that most of us are for sure sleeping the recommended hours that are told to us, and some of us are sleeping even more than the recommended hours. It could be even more than 8 hours. But here's the problem that their sleep schedule is all over the place. Some nights they would go to sleep at 11 p.m., some nights maybe at 1 a.m., some nights at around 3 a.m., maybe because of weekends and you're out with your friends. Then sometimes you wake up at 7 a.m. because you have to go to work. Sometimes maybe at 12 p.m. because you had those little extra hours to sleep. So if you see this, they are getting the hours, but they still feel like garbage. Meanwhile, I see other people who are sleeping for 6 to 7 hours maximum and they sleep consistently at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. And if you look at them, they sleep much lesser and they are very energized. So, my question is that what is the difference? Because what confused me the most is that we've been told that we need to get 8 hours of sleep, which is that golden number. But if someone is getting 9 hours of sleep and feeling terrible, and someone who's getting 6 hours of sleep and feeling really energized, then there is something wrong with this whole concept because then clearly duration isn't the only thing that matters. So as I told you that I researched this and I started looking into it, and what really blew my mind was that your body doesn't really care about how much you sleep. It cares about when you sleep because your body runs on this 24-hour clock which is called the circadian rhythm, and you have something that's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is in the thalamus, hypothalamus of your brain. And what that does is it's like a master clock. So think about it being a huge master clock that controls every other clock in your body. It tells your liver that, okay, this is your time to do your detox. It tells your hormones that, okay, now you should be released. It tells your digestive system that, okay, this is your time that you need to digest. And it does pretty much all of that. So it is like a master clock that controls every other clock in the body. And the thing is that this master clock is not controlled by your sleep itself. It is controlled by four things: light exposure, especially the early morning light, darkness at night, timing of food intake, and regularity of behavior. And I want you to think of your body like a factory which runs in shifts. So the day shift is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. What they do is they handle all the productions and the products and the making of things. And the night shift that works from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And what they do is majorly the repair work. So repairing, cleaning, moving things out, that is what pretty much they do. And when these two work in sync, everything literally runs smoothly. So now let's say that there is this motor repairing guy who comes around 11 p.m. and his shift gets over at 1 a.m. Now, he is waiting at the door. But the thing is that no one literally is opening that door because there's no one inside. So he keeps waiting, waiting, waiting. And the moment it's 1 a.m., he leaves. Pretty much like when you miss a flight, you don't really turn up, the flight goes away. Exactly like that. So he cannot really do his work. So he comes the next day. He comes at the same time at 11 p.m. He leaves at 1 a.m. and no one opens the door. So he leaves again. And he does this almost every day. Now, his job is to just come there and do that repair work. But because no one is really opening that door, he can't do his repair work. So he keeps waiting. He turns up every day, but because no one opens the door, so he's just waiting right there. And then just one day he turns up again at 11 p.m. and suddenly the door is open, so he goes in. He tries to do how much of the repair work he can do because for the last few days no one has been opening the door, and he tries to do his best. So he tries to repair how much ever he can within those 2 hours, and then at 1 a.m. he again leaves. And then again he turns up the next day, and okay, this person again is not opening the door. So if you notice here that this person has regularly come during that time, but you haven't opened the door, and this is what happens to your body. So when your body has to repair at a certain hour and you are not asleep during those hours, your body cannot really do the repair. But just imagine one of the days this factory manager comes in and he's like, okay, listen, you all are still going to be working 8 hour shifts, but every day this shift is going to change. Some days your day shift will start at 6 a.m., some days your day shift will start at 11 a.m., some days your day shift will start at maybe 9 p.m. and sometimes maybe even at 3 p.m. And for the people who are doing night shift, well, it could be 3 a.m., it could be 2 a.m., it could be 5 a.m. Like it's just all flexible. So, what do you think is going to happen? Chaos. Because imagine now the day shift people are suddenly all working throughout the night, and the repair guys are just waiting there and being like, okay, wait, it's our shift. So, do we work right now or do we wait? And then they end up waiting, and then they're all confused, and literally the whole body is working now a 24 hours shift where none of those workers or the day shift workers or the night shift workers don't really get rest. So now all the workers are confused, and it's pretty much the same way with your body. So if you're someone who is sleeping at 11 a.m. and waking up at 7 p.m., then you are actually doing night shift hours in day shift timing. So the hours are there, and I'm very sure you're going to get great sleep quality. But because you're doing it at the wrong time, so restoration is not going to happen. And here's what actually happens when you don't sleep according to this circadian rhythm. So, number one is that your hormones now get confused. Now, cortisol and melatonin, they are two hormones that are like a seesaw. When cortisol goes up, melatonin stays low, and when melatonin is up, cortisol stays low. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone that is at a rise when you wake up, and by night it starts dropping down. And melatonin, on the other hand, it is high up when your sleep cycle or when you have to sleep, and it's lower early in the morning. Now, when your sleep schedule is all over the place, these hormones don't really know when to release and when to not. So you're tired when you're actually supposed to be alert, and you're very wired when you are supposed to be sleeping. And which is why most people use this line and say that my hormones are all over the place. Well, yes, it is. Number two is that your body temperature gets disrupted. Now, your core temperature is supposed to drop at night to put you into deep sleep. But if you are sleeping like around at 3 p.m., that's when your temperature is rising and now you're fighting your biology. Number three is deep sleep and REM sleep. They happen at very specific times at night. So, deep sleep, where your physical restoration takes place, that happens majorly from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and it's at its peak. So it's pretty much concentrated at the first half of the night. And REM sleep, which is your rapid eye movement sleep, which is majorly for your memory consolidation, where your brain repairs and all your memories and everything that happens mostly from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. But if you're going to sleep at, let's say, 2 a.m., then you've already missed your deep sleep window. So you might get your 8 hours of sleep, but you're not getting that physical restoration of sleep which you're supposed to get from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. Number four is that your digestive system has a schedule. Yes, your digestive system follows a timeline. It's the most active during the day and it's the least active during the night. So if you are someone who eats late or maybe post like a 10 p.m., understand that your gut is not working at that point because, as I said, their shift is over and they're not going to be working during those hours. This leads to inflammation because the food now is just there. It's not being processed because the workers have gone home. So, what's happening there is you're getting a lot of inflammation, and that is what drains a lot of your energy. So, coming back to what I said, there is a master clock, and all these systems in your body have a time. So, they don't need you to just be awake, or they don't just need you to be asleep. They need you to be awake and consume food at a certain time and sleep and restore at a certain time. So if you think that your body is broken and you are just exhausted all the time, then you need to understand that you might not be running on a schedule, but your body runs on a proper day to day schedule. And if you don't show up during that time, well, that portion of your repair or any cleaning that needs to be done internally doesn't really happen. So if you think that your body is broken, well, your body isn't broken, it's just very smart. It always runs on a maintenance schedule. It's just that you don't follow that schedule, which is why the maintenance of your body just never happens properly. And pretty much as I told you earlier, if someone's given a time slot to get their work done, and if you don't show up, you waste that time slot, the work cannot be done, and it keeps compounding over days. And whatever issues you are seeing or feeling exhausted is because you have that time slot that you've not really kept for your repair and you've not really done anything about it or you've not really fixed it. Now you're wondering that why is all of this never been taught to me? Not by doctors, not by schools, not by fitness influencers. And you have to understand that this is not complicated. The only reason they don't really teach you all of this is because there is no money in telling you to respect your time. Because you need to understand that sleep quality sells and circadian rhythm alignment doesn't. And if you're wondering why, then understand that you can sell mattresses, you can sell supplements, you can sell blue light glasses, you can sell sleep courses, but you cannot sell sunlight, you cannot sell darkness, you cannot sell early dinners, and you cannot sell feeling bored at night. And this information that I've given you will just change the way your energy levels are going to be. So, even though maybe you're living this modern life, but you have to understand that your body is still ancient and it still runs on the schedule that it's always been running on since years. But because you keep changing the schedules because of staying awake with your friends at night, watching Netflix, or maybe working late hours, you're just ruining that entire repair and progress. Everything that you're doing there is just pulling you out of your body's natural rhythm. Which is why just get sleep for 8 hours is not incomplete advice, it is harmful advice. So, what makes more sense is that stop focusing on just 8 hours of sleep. Try to focus more on the timing of your sleep, which means you consistently sleep and wake up at the same time. So, try to sleep at that 10 or max 11 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. Same time every day, weekend, weekdays, everything. Which is why people in the village are generally much more healthier than people in the cities. And also because your body cannot run its maintenance at random schedules that you give it, it will only run its maintenance in the hours that it knows. So give it what it needs. And if you like what you saw, there is a lot more coming up. And until we meet again next, don't stress and be awesome.